So with remote learning becoming the new normal, scammers are busy finding new ways to pull off cyber attacks. And as a result, many parents and their children may soon find themselves at risk of getting hacked. So joining me right now to give us some tips on how you can protect your family and your kids against cyber attacks is CEO of connectsafely.org, Larry Magid. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so first of all, what can parents do right now to ensure the privacy and safety of their kids as they, really continue to go through this remote learning? There's so many challenges right now, but as a parent, to even think that you have to worry about their cyber safety is yet another uphill battle. So how can you help us get through that?
Well, there are basically three issues here. One is, as you pointed out, the hacking or the scam that could inadvertently put you at risk. The other is how you behave, how the child behaves when they're online, what information they provide, how well they're dressed, things like that. And the third is what's going on in the background, other family members, the setting that they're in. So starting with your first question, make sure you've got good antivirus software or anti-malware software. Be very careful about what are called phishing attacks. If you get an email that asks you to, let's say, fill out a security questionnaire or to log into a site, don't just click on it, but go to the site directly if you know it's your bank or something legitimate. You don't want to get malware put on your computer through any form, including the so-called phishing attack via email. That's probably the best thing you can do to assure your safety when it comes to hacking. When it comes to the other issues, be aware of what's in the background. For example, I've heard reports of families getting into arguments while the child is in school. I heard a funny report, I guess it was a funny, about a parent walked past and he was getting dressed and they investigated it, but he was just literally getting dressed and didn't realize the camera was on him. So be aware of those issues. And of course, make sure your child knows not to reveal anything, not to get into conversations with people they don't know, and not to give out personal information that isn't necessary for the classroom or whatever they're participating in.
Those are some really interesting points that I think many parents might not have thought of, especially that camera being in the background and what's going on in the household at the time. But what about little kids? They may not even be able to understand what's being asked of them, and they're just clicking away. So how do you protect them?
Oh, with little kids, if they're very young, a parent should be with them if they're online, whether it's on a laptop or a tablet or a phone. And definitely supervise them if they're very young. As they get older, as they start to get independence, preschool age, then you talk with them about a very limited experience. In other words, if they're online and you want them to go to PBS Kids, that's fine, but don't just give them free range of the internet. Either use a parental control tool to limit what they can do, or make sure you've talked with them and they know what their limits are. When kids get older, for example, kindergartners, my daughter is a kindergarten teacher. She's teaching online right now. And with those kids, you need to be very sensitive about their own sense of privacy. Sometimes they get shy when they're on camera and they may not want to be on camera. And the parent and teacher should talk about that to make sure that the child is comfortable, whether they're 5 years old or 15 years old.
Should we assume that when children are remote learning, directly connected to the school, that is safe, or should that be monitored and we need to protect that as well?
Well, in general, you can assume that if the school is providing the link, it is probably safe. But anytime you're online, you should be aware of the fact that things can go wrong. And, we've had those early stories of the Zoom bombings, people getting into, or Zoom hacks, people getting into sessions at schools that they shouldn't be in. By and large, I think most schools have that worked out. But again, if your child's in front of a camera that's connected to the internet, I would certainly be aware. I wouldn't be paranoid about it. I mean, I think it's great, right? I mean, millions of kids are getting an education this way, and I encourage it. But parents should be aware of the fact that there's a camera and a microphone trained on your child in your home that can not only pick up your child, but other things that are going on in the household.
Yeah, because a lot of people think once you're logged out, everything's fine and dandy. But we've seen in the past, even Mark Zuckerberg had a piece of tape on his camera, on his computer monitor to make sure that people weren't watching him. So even at some of the top levels, people are taking protections.
That's right. And be aware of the microphone as well as the camera, because it can pick up sounds anywhere in the house or anywhere nearby.
All right, Larry, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.